Hey there guys, welcome back for another Warhammer 40,000 Imperium magazine review. This week, looking at issue 12 of the magazine. Now, not a huge saving this week. We get 3 paints. We get Adrak's Earthshade, so our first pot of shade. We get a pot of Canoptek Alloy, which is basically a silverish paint, so metallic, and a base paint is Screamer Pink, so a pot of Screamer Pink. So yeah, savings on this obviously will be on the screen at the end. I think it's about 50 odd p, if that. Let's do some quick maths. 275 typically, so 550 plus 425 I think these are. So 975, so 75p, 76p roughly is what you'll be saving. If you buy these from a third party retailer, they are going to be cheaper, so you won't be saving on that comparison. But as I've said before guys, if we get issues where we're not saving much, 75p, or the model or paints aren't even worth the price of the magazine, remember two things. You're getting a magazine with it, and over the course of the collection you are saving money. You get issues where you might be a loss of say £1 if you can buy it cheaper elsewhere, but you'll also get issues such as we did with the Scorpec Destroyers, where you're getting £32.50 worth of models for £9. You know, the savings far outweigh the losses on issues like this. But if you are only collecting for the models and paints and whatnot, and you're not interested in the magazines, then obviously you can save some money by avoiding issue 12 and buying some paint. But you know, we get a magazine, so it's not too bad. Right, let's take a look. So, Necrons, weapons and war gear names. So I think we got this with the Space Marines a few issues back. Now obviously we get to do it for the Necrons and their weapons. So again, you roll a d3, so roll a dice. 1 and 2 equals 1, 3 and 4 equals 2, and 5 and 6 equals 3. And then you look at the list. Oh, this is for a d33, sorry. So a d3 table. Roll 2 dice and consult. Okay, so you roll 2 dice, and then this is the 3s, and then your other one, you consult this table and pick your names, but you know how to do it. Then we have for ranged war gear and melee weapons. So ranged weapons, melee weapons, and the first one is for war gear. Then the Imperium Nihilus. The Imperium Nihilus lies beyond the roiling warp storms that make up the Great Rift. Cut off from terror and blind to the Astronomican's light, those who dwell here face a legion of nightmarish foes. So as we know, the Great Rift is a galaxy-spanning tear in the fabric of reality, where the warp can pour into our reality or our universe, galaxy, whatever you want to call it. And on the southern side of it, Earth's side or Terra side, everything is pretty much as it was before the rift, with a few extra demons and stuff, but it's still just battles. We can travel through the warp. We have the Astronomican light, the Emperor's light, that the telepaths and stuff can use to be able to find their way through the warp. However, anything above the rift, so north of the rift, is the Imperium Nihilus, and they don't have that light, making warp travel very dangerous. And because they're cut off from reinforcements from Terra and you know, some of the chapters, it means that they are easy pickings for everything up there. Tyranids, Orcs and Abaddon's Black Legions are wreaking havoc up there. So yeah, not too great over that side. And Commander Dante, so he is the chapter master of the Blood Angels, and Rabute Gilliman paid him a visit and said, look, I know stuff's tough up here, I'm down there doing my thing, I need somebody to watch up over here. Your what are they called? Your Primarch was a close brother of mine, and so I would like you to control and rule over or watch over this area until I can get you better reinforcements and, you know, sort all this mess out. So Dante is acting regent of Nihilus, and Gilliman is in charge of the south. Chapter planets. So many Space Marine chapters operate from a single home world where they carry out their training, recruit new warriors and rearm their forces. It is their sovereign domain over which they have complete authority, and their chapter master is Lord of all. Unless, of course, half your chapters decide to go renegade, blow up your planet, leaving your fortress monastery floating around on an asteroid that you then have to refit or retrofit with thrusters and huge engines, and basically turning it into a rock of warriors, such as the Dark Angels have, then yeah, you have this. Otherwise you have a floating rock. Some chapters though, they do have fleet based chapters, so instead of having a planet, they have huge ships or a giant floating asteroid, and they'll use, you know, various planets to recruit from, and yeah, so no home world, it was destroyed, but they recruit from various planets, giving them a bit more variety in what they can select. And then fortress monasteries are gigantic citadels where the Space Marines headquarters are located, and as I said, the fortress monastery was pretty much the only thing left when Caliban was destroyed, and so now it's just a giant rock with one of these things on it. I say floating through space, it has engines and thrusters and it can move, but yeah, there's not too much left of it. But most planets, or chapter planets, will have a fortress monastery on it. Chaos demons. No enemy of the Imperium is more terrible than the demons of chaos. They are numberless foot soldiers of the dark gods. Wrought from the very essence of the immaterium, their monstrous forms are shaped by the darkest nightmares and cruelest desires of mortal beings. So literally the stuff of your nightmares. If you have a nightmare, there's a good chance you've just created a demon somewhere. That's pretty much how they work. They can manifest in our reality if they are strong enough, or if the fabric is thin enough. But yeah, the Chaos Gods. So we have Khorne. Khorne is the blood god, chaos god of anger, violence and hatred. His demons are red-skinned monsters clutching hell-forged blades who seek only to conquer and destroy all in their path. Tzeentch, I think that's how you pronounce it, not Zinch or Tinch, it's sound Tzeentch, is the chaos god of change, an ever-scheming god. He is associated with sorcery. His brightly coloured demons go to war with vibrant, destructive displays of magic. Then we have Nurgle, and at the minute we are all knowing about Nurgle's COVID plague. But yeah, he's actually my favourite of the Chaos Gods, just because rotting flesh and monsters and gore and stuff. But if I had to pick a close second, it'd probably be the next one. But Nurgle is the chaos god of plague and decay. His demons are bloated with rot and covered in pus-filled boils. Most are jovial creatures who take pleasure in spreading disease across the galaxy. And then finally, Slanesh. Slanesh is the chaos god of pain, pleasure and excess. He is the youngest of the chaos gods. His demons are both beautiful and horrific, with lithe, graceful bodies marred by monstrous mutations. Basically the god of bondage. BDSM. Lots of nudity, but also lots of pain, torture, with pleasure. But yeah, so if I had to rank them, I would say Nurgle, Slanesh, Khorne, and then Tzeentch being my least favourite, just because of too many brightly colours. I'm not a huge bright colour person, but yeah. Let me know down in the comments, actually, guys, your favourite. If you had to pick one, even if you're not a Chaos player, if you had to pick one, who is your favourite of the Chaos gods and why? Let me know down there. How to paint with shades. So shades are generally washes. Other companies will call them washes, but yeah, basically they're a super thin down inky type paint. You apply them over the top of your models, and when they dry, they typically sort of stain the surface, but they fill into recesses. They flow fairly well into recesses, and will leave this sort of pooling and leave this effect. What you don't want, however, is this tide marks. This typically comes when the paint starts to dry, and if you've applied, you go back and try to remove some, the paint will dry from the thinnest area, which is also always the outside edge, and if you remove that paint in the middle, you'll get this ring, and then less paint in the middle, this dark ring. So obviously they say to paint over it and then reapply the wash or the shade. The other thing you want to be careful of is pooling. When you apply the shade, it's fine, get it all over the model, and then before it has time to even start drying, wick up the excess with a brush, wipe it back to the pot, wick up more, wipe it back. You don't want huge pools because that will dry and clog up details. You just want it to sit in the recesses. I mean, you can see here it's the same piece, and you can see how much detail is clogged up with the pool. You don't want that. You want something like this where you just got many little pools in the model, but nothing too heavy. Then we've got the How to Paint Space Marines. So this is just using the wash or the shade and the Screamer Pink for purity seals, handles, grips and things like that, and also for the shade on the base. Then we have the final gallery, and here we have the Primaris Captain, the Librarian in Phobos armor, the Primaris Lieutenant. Now we should have 8 Assault Intercessors, 5 being what I will call the official intercessors, and 3 of the paint set intercessors. So we've got official and paint set, just to avoid confusion. And then we've also got the 3 Primaris Aggressors, unless you, like me, went out and bought an extra issue or 2. Then same with the Necrons, we have the How to Paint, Agrax Earthshade and the Canoptech Alloy, and again they're just going through showing you what areas to paint with what paint. And then the final gallery there, so if you're following the magazine, this is what you will have up to this stage, and if you are painting your own army, then obviously you're going to have finished or completed models. So we've got the Overlord, the Royal Warden, the Canoptech Plasma Sight. We should have 10 Necron Warriors with Gauze Flayers official, and the 3 from the paint set for a total of 13. and 3 Scorpec destroyers, unless again, like me, you bought an extra issue or 2. Then we have the Defending the Crypts playthrough. Check the link in the corner for that. The painting video for this week, guys, obviously we've only got paints, will be a Space Marine, again from the Assault Intercessors. So another chapter, you can check that out again in the corner and see how this week's chapter is being painted up. As I'm recording this, I'm not quite sure who it will be just yet. I do have them roughly planned out, who I'm doing for issues like this, but yeah, check those out in the corner and throw a like down on those. So the playthrough, just going through quickly the data sheet. So the only new thing we're learning this week, as far as I can tell, is the keywords, and that is the character keywords. And then obviously some explaining. I'll do all that in the video. We've used all of these models before, and as far as I can tell, we're using all the rules that we know so far for these models. And it's played on the small map, which is very small for the number of models on here, but yeah, that is five Necron warriors and the Lord, and the 3 Assault Intercessors. These are the painting ones, and the Captain is who we will be fighting. And that is the end of the issue. So, price up on your screen. Obviously, you went through it at the beginning. Not much of a saving. No saving if you go by third-party prices, but you're getting a magazine with it, and you make a saving over the course anyway. Then we have issue 13. So this is where we will get our the first of our 5 Assault Intercessors next week. Obviously a few weeks ago from the time you're watching this, or a few months ago if you're new to the channel and watching well ahead of time, behind time, that way. So 5 Assault Intercessors with issue 13 next week, guys. And then the week after, issue 14, we get our first Munitorum armoured container, which does come with these extras as well. So we get the 3 barrels, 2 small boxes and 2 large boxes. And anytime we get these, we'll have 2 more to get. Will be this exact same thing 2 more times over. But that is it there, guys. Thank you ever so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you're yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button. And if you ding that bell, you'll get notifications of when new videos go live every Wednesday for this. If you have recently subscribed, then a huge warm welcome to you. Welcome to the inner circle. Thank you for your support. But until next time, guys, take it easy. Keep painting those minis.